Gentleman, Chair, and I recognize the gentleman from California, Mr. Garamendi.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for your clarity of your statement, as well as for the ranking member, Mr. Smith. General Cavoli, thank you for your service. You've been at this a long time, and the clarity of your testimony today is extraordinarily important to all of us about the role of EUCOM and the defense of Europe, also the defense of the United States. My question really goes to Ms. Thompson, and I would like to have clarity about the administration's belief or not that our NATO European partners are critical to U.S. national security.
Thank you for the question, Congressman. I would point you to Secretary Hegseth's comments on his first trip overseas, which was to the NATO Defense Ministerial, and where he acknowledged that NATO is the most successful defense alliance in history, and that he made clear that we are not abandoning our European allies. In fact, our efforts and President Trump's efforts, particularly on the defense spending front, is meant to bring our European allies alongside us to develop a status quo.
I got all that from your testimony, but my question was different. My question is or are the European allies critical to our national American security?
I would say a strong defense and deterrence in Europe is certainly in our national interest, particularly as the department has an aim to focus on homeland defense, and certainly as the chairman and ranking member recognized the looming threat of conflict with China in the Indo-Pacific. Having partners in Europe that, as allies and partners, are strong on defense and deterrence and are capable only helps further those interests for us.
The lack of clarity in your answer is noted. However, it's also clear that the statements from the administration, including the Secretary and the Vice President, would indicate that the administration does not value our NATO allies, calling them pathetic and other demeaning words, and also missing the monthly NATO meeting, would indicate that perhaps the administration's view does not coincide with your roundabout statement. So the question is, does the U.S. still value the partners that we have in Europe?
Thank you for the question, Congressman. And again, I would say, as the Secretary and the President have emphasized, we do value our partners in Europe to the extent that they're willing to step up and be strong allies and partners with us, and that means pulling their weight. And that's the tough message and the honest message that this administration has been delivering, and we believe it's important to be honest with our allies, and that only builds a stronger relationship for us and for our European allies and partners.
Maybe that's not correct. Maybe it actually weakens our partnership when you demean, when you discourage, and when you place them in a lower value. Moving beyond that, I just note the self-inflicted wounds that the administration has put in place in Europe and the extraordinary additional burden that places on our military leadership, trying to hold it together. I want to also thank Mr. Turner for the clarity that he brought with regard to the command of NATO. General Cavoli, there are many facilities in Europe, some of them on the eastern side in Poland. Are there any plans to change the footprint of the U.S. military on the Eastern Front?
Congressman, we move forces around frequently in Europe. Our air forces are hopping all around. Our maritime forces, even our ground forces move from place to place. But the principal locations where we have forces right now, that's where they are, and that's where I'm planning to keep them. very generous, some of the countries on the eastern flank, Poland, $3.2 billion in infrastructure to provide housing for our servicemen who are rotating through there. Lithuania has built a city for an armored battalion. I think that got at your question, sir. If not, please let me know.
I will in the classified. Thank you. Yield
Okay,
back.
thank you.